This is the Transition News on Atlantic Television Network. Suspected hoodlums attacked some journalists covering the End Bad Governance protest in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. This is coming after the hoodlums positioned themselves directly opposite the Federal Secretariat in Port Harcourt, intimidating and chasing away protesters. According to witnesses, before the arrival of journalists, 2 protesters had already been beaten while police officers stood by and did nothing. The journalists were also said to have been surrounded and threatened by the thugs, who stated that they were there to ensure no protests would take place. The Federal Secretariat on the Port Harcourt-Aba Expressway has been a gathering point for the protesters for the past 7 days of the hunger and End Bad Governance protest. When contacted, the River State Police Commissioner, Olatunji Disu, expressed concern over the incidents, promising a thorough investigation to ensure accountability and prevent future occurrences. Recall that the River State Commissioner, who has been visited sites and severally in the past days, had ensured that rational and ensured peace and orderliness among the protesters since the commencement of protests. Wednesday makes it day 7 of the nationwide protest, which later turned violent in some northern states. Children's Day celebration is a world annual event set aside to remember the significance of children in the society. To commemorate this year's event, Morrison Communications Limited partnered with Pace Expression and held the Children's Day event on the 25th of May 2024. Atlantic Television News tells us more.
Indeed, Nigeria is the giant of Africa and a country important to the whole world. It is to this that the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Metama, met with the diplomatic corps in Nigeria on 7th August 2024, soliciting for the understanding.
Morrison Communication Limited today fulfilled her promise by presenting a award of honor and cash prize to deserving schools who participated during her Children's Day event on May 25, 2024. Recall that Morrison Communication Limited on May 25, 2024 held a Children's Day celebration at La Small Hotel and Resort in Port Harcourt. The event, which featured veteran Nollywood actress Hilda Dokubo as a special guest of honor, had other side attractions, which includes match pass competition from various schools, games, raffle draws, quiz, children debate, award of prize to winners, amongst others. Speaking at the event, the special guest of honor and veteran Nollywood actress Hilda Dokubo said that the children are our most precious gifts. They are hope for the future and everything. She also advised the children not to forget their upbringing, while urging them to remain focused and diligent.
You see that uncle, that auntie, maybe it's mommy, maybe it's daddy. That one who is always cautioning you. That one who will always tell you, don't do this, don't do that. Dress up properly, greet properly. That one who will always ask you, what do you say to uncle when you receive something? What do you say when you wake up in the morning? When you go home today, hug that auntie or uncle and say, I love you. Hug that one. Because that auntie loves you. And that auntie wants you to grow up properly and be respected everywhere you are found.
Presenting the award today, 7th of August 2024, at the Morrison Communication Complex, Chairman, Chief Executive Officer, Morrison Communication Limited, Dr. Chinyere Igwe, said, children are the future of tomorrow and it is expedient to celebrate them, stressing that the awards given to schools is to motivate the children for better performance.
We appreciate their participation. Therefore, urge them to continuously participate more. In similar token, we want to urge other schools in River State to be part of what we are doing to nurture the leaders of tomorrow by participating in modern communications activities in whatever way for the children, for the adolescents, for the teenagers, and for the adults as the case might be. Then for the winners, we appreciate their efforts, we appreciate their valor, we appreciate and urge them that to be victorious with an open heart.
Receiving the awards, the principals, Tollgate Montessori and High School, Grace-Dell International School, and Partners International School, respectively, expressed their appreciation to Morrison Communication Limited and appealed to the organization to keep motivating children for greater heights.
I want to say thank you on behalf of management, staff of Zufio Primal Foods. We say a very big thank you to you.
I'm very proud of this, and I like the sound of it. Children friendly. I love kids, good. So we're very proud of us, we're very proud of the foundation, and we're grateful to have all of you show up today. Thank you very much.
Oluchinwafo, ATN News, Port Harcourt.
A proposed 10-day stretched hunger protest in River State was disorganized on Wednesday following alleged financial inducement by undisclosed politicians in an effort to curtail what has now turned into a volatile action. ATN gathered that in the early hours of Wednesday at Education Bus Stop, Mile 1 in Port Harcourt, some persons alleged to be agents of influential politicians were seen sharing money to the protesters and admonishing them not to be scared of anything. It was learned that some politicians with vested interest in the welfare of River State want to see an end to the ongoing social unrest, hence the decision to opt for financial inducement of some of the leading faces in the protest. An eyewitness disclosed to newsmen that the arrival of a team of armed policemen caused the protesters to scamper, thereby disrupting the money-sharing process at Newi and Udi streets in the popular Diob area of Port Harcourt. The National Coordinator of Civil Rights Council, Barrister Paul Ogbonna Arochukwu, said that he heard about the financial inducement on the first day of the protest. Governor Basio, too, of Cross River State has given approval for the employment of an additional 31 medical doctors, 22 pharmacists, and 153 nurses into the state health sector. He said this is in a bid to address the manpower deficit in the sector. State Commissioner for Health, Dr. Henry Ebe Ayuk, confirmed this in Calabar. Ayuk said that the development was a practical demonstration of the state government's commitment to boost the health and well-being of Cross Riverians. He acknowledged that the unprecedented influx of those seeking health services from state-owned public health facilities was as a result of the people's confidence in the renewed vigor in healthcare service delivery by the present administration. According to the commissioner, the injection of new blood into the health sector will help to bridge the human capacity gap in the health ministry and equip it with the necessary manpower to carry out clinical activities in public health facilities across the state. Before now, the number of doctors depleted to 20, while the state had 938 nurses. Delta State Governor Sharif Oboriwori has called for more prayers to enable his administration resolve some of the intractable challenges bedeviling the state. The governor disclosed this when he received a courtesy visit at the state executive of the Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria, led by the state chairman, Bishop Kingsley Enahirem, at the government house, Asaba, while assuring that his administration is committed to the security of lives and property in the state, while noting that the security challenges in the state are just a phase and that they would come and go. He said that the state was peaceful despite a few security challenges in some parts of the state. On the ongoing protests in the country, Governor Oboriwori flayed a section of the opposition for trying to take credit for the peaceful disposition of protesters in the state, adding that it was a collective effort of all stakeholders, especially prayers of the church. Earlier, Bishop Enahirem said that they visited to pledge their unalloyed and unflinching support to the administration of Governor Oboriwori and thanked him for his wisdom in managing the affairs of the state, particularly in handling the ongoing national protests in the country. Osun State Governor Ademola Adeleke has commended the suspension of the End Bad Governance protests in the state. Governor Adeleke also praised the organizers and protesters for maintaining peace and order during the 6 days of the protest. The governor extended his commendation through a statement by his spokesperson, Olawale Rashid, in response to the announcement made by the protest organizers, the Coalition for Concerned Nigerian Citizens, Osun State. Adeleke also promised to personally present the protesters' demands to President Bola Tinubu for proper consideration. ATN reported that the End Bad Governance nationwide protest began on Thursday, August 1st, 2024, with organizers declaring it would last for 10 days, ending on Saturday, August 10th, 2024. The protest, which had been peaceful in Osun State, was suspended indefinitely by the organizers on Tuesday. During the protest, primarily held in Osogbo, the state capital, security agencies were stationed at various strategic locations and accompanied the protesters as they marched through major areas and streets in the capital. The organizers stated that the protest was suspended after 6 days to make way for the celebration of the 2024 Osun-Osogbo Festival, which will conclude on Friday, August 9th, 2024. Announcing the suspension of the protests on Tuesday, the organizers noted that the 6-day protest had effectively communicated the demands of the stakeholders to leaders at all levels. Osun State Police Command has arrested 6 suspects for attempted murder, kidnapping, and armed robbery. The command spokesperson Yemisi Opalola announced the arrest in a statement in Osogbo. Opalola said that the suspects were arrested in a day: Osun State, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Akure, Ondo State, and Lagos State. Opalola also revealed that 1 Beretta pistol without magazine, 1 locally made pistol, 2 cartridges, 1 iPhone, Apple wristwatch, 2 Toyota Camry cars, 1 earpod, 1 ATM card, and 1 screwdriver were recovered from the suspects. She gave the names of the suspects and their ages as Sunday Felix Eniola, Sunday Emeka, Solomon Michael, Ebere Nwonye, Moses Obu, and Friday Bernard. Opalola disclosed that the suspects will be charged to court after the conclusion of the investigation. Ekiti State Police commanders arraigned 5 suspects following the magistrate court sitting in Ado-Ekiti for alleged stealing of construction materials belonging to the state government. The suspects Bamidele Solomon, Folorunsho Dada, Sunday Idowu, Olaniyan Opemi, and Olaniyi Bamidele were brought before the magistrate court. Before the magistrate Abayomi Adeosun, the suspects were arraigned on 3 counts of conspiracy to steal granite, the property of Ekiti State government, valued at 475,500 naira. They, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges. The police prosecutor, Mr. Akinwale Ariomi, told the court that the defendants allegedly committed the offense on the 5th August 2024. The prosecutor thereafter asked for trial dates following their non-guilty plea. According to the prosecutor, the alleged offenses violate sections 421, 302, subsections 1A and 343 of the criminal laws of Ekiti State. 2021, the magistrate, however, granted bail of 200,000 naira with 2 sureties each, while the case was adjourned till September the 6th for the commencement of trial. Lagos State Police commanders arraigned 4 suspects at Badagry Chief Magistrate Court over alleged fraud. The defendants Zainab Abdullahi Olarewaju Miriam, Suleiman Abdulatif, and Yahuza Jibril, of no fixed addresses, are standing trial on a 3-count charge of felony, stealing, and fraud. They, however, pleaded not guilty to the charges, and earlier the prosecutor, Inspector Edet Epo, informed the court that the defendants committed the offense between January and July at a low-cost housing estate in Badagry, Lagos. Epo said that the defendants conspired among themselves to obtain money under the false pretenses. The defendants, he said, contravened sections 411, 314, and 287 of the criminal law of Lagos State 2015. The Chief Magistrate N.A. Laneyi granted the defendants bail in the sum of 1 million naira each with 2 sureties each in the like sum, saying that each of the sureties must be a company director. Laneyi also said that each of the sureties must deposit 25,000 naira to the Chief Magistrate of the court and thereafter adjourned the case till August 15th for a hearing. Kogi State government has commenced investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of 6 persons after eating cassava flour. They may have been contaminated. ATN gathered that the incidents occurred when last Wednesday in a household in Ayoke, Okunchi Ward, Adavi local government area of the state. The 8 victims were rushed to 3 different hospitals, where 6 of them died due to multiple organ failure. The 2 surviving victims have since been discharged. The State's Commissioner for Health, Abdulaziz Adeza, who had visited the survivors before their discharge, said that a specialized team consisting of state and World Health Organization officials, including the disease surveillance and notification officer and local health officials, have been deployed to investigate the outbreak. He said that the samples of the cassava flour have been collected for toxicology analysis. analysis in collaboration with the State Ministry of Agriculture. The Kogi State Ministry of Health also thanked the community for its cooperation and urged everyone to prioritize healthy living, remain vigilant, and promptly report any suspicious findings. Nigerian Army has confirmed the arrest of 8 personnel who gunned down a 16-year-old boy, Ismail Mohammed, during the ongoing End Bad Governance protest in Kaduna State. ATN gathered that the young boy was killed on Tuesday when the troops of the Nigerian Army stormed the Samaru community in Zaria to disperse the protesters. In a statement, Oyema Nwachukwu, Army spokesperson, said that the soldiers were enforcing the 24-hour curfew imposed on Kaduna and Zaria metropolis following the reports of violence during the nationwide protests. He said the soldiers were attacked by some hoodlums while enforcing the curfew in Samaru area of Zaria state. Nwachukwu added that the hoodlums were throwing stones at security personnel and burning tires despite the curfew. Army spokesperson said that the soldier fired a warning shot in a bid to disperse the protesters but accidentally killed the boy. The statement added that Taoreed Labaja, Chief of Army Staff, sent a high-powered delegation to visit and condole with the family of the deceased. The delegation was led by Landers Saraso, General Officer commanding 1 division. The spokesperson said that the deceased has been buried according to Islamic rites, adding that senior military officers attended the burial. Kaduna State Police Command says its operatives have arrested a notorious kidnapper and recovered firearms and 27 live ammunition. A spokesperson of the command, ASP Mansiru Hassan, confirmed the developments in a statement in Kaduna. Hassan said that the anti-kidnapping unit of the command has successfully apprehended a notorious kidnapper. The suspect, identified as Abdurrahman of Karshi, was arrested in possession of an AK-47 rifle along with 27 rounds of live ammunition in Karshi. Upon interrogation, Abdurrahman confessed to being involved in several kidnappings in Ikara local government area of Kaduna State. Hassan said that the suspects will be prosecuted upon completion of preliminary investigation. He said the Commissioner of Police, Audu Dabigi, has commended the officers involved for their exemplary work. He reassured the public of the command's unwavering commitment to the protection of lives and property throughout the state. After the Security Council meeting with heads of security agencies, the Yobe State Governor, Mr. Mai Buni, has further relaxed the curfew in Potiskum, Gashua, and Nguru towns, following the nationwide protests that went violent, according to a press statement by the Director General on Press and Media Affairs. Press and Media Affairs to the Governor, Maman Mohammed. The curfew now starts from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. effective from Wednesday. The meeting noted with dismay the sudden appearance of hoodlums and criminals who hid under the nationwide protest to destroy and loot government and private properties in the affected local government councils. It therefore cautioned parents and guardians to always monitor their words and not to allow them to be used as agents of distraction. And looting. Governor Buni commended the security organizations for handling the situation maturely and professionally. Jigawa State Police Commanders arrested 82 additional suspects involved in looting and vandalizing public property during the recent nationwide protests. This brings the total number of suspects detained since August the 1st to 294. The command's spokesperson, DSP Lawan Shishu, stated this in Duse that the latest arrests were made on Saturday and Monday. According to Shishu, the police have recovered numerous items from the suspects, including 303 bags of fertilizers, 50 motorcycles, 3 tricycles, 12 bicycles, 9 chairs, 54 cartons of mosquito nets, 2 bags of rice, and furniture and office furniture. Shisu also mentioned that 37 suspects were detained on Saturday for alleged involvement in vandalism and property destruction. The items recovered from these operations include 249 bags of fertilizer, 100 cartons of mosquito nets, 11 motorcycles, 4 air conditioner units, 4 televisions, 3 desktop computers, 34 sachets of agrochemicals, rice, water, water pump, solar panels, 10 office chairs. The command spokesperson further reported that some suspects had forcefully entered the guest and farmhouse of Senator Babangida Hussaini, stealing valuable items, he said on Monday. "45 suspects were arrested in Babura, Wiwa, Roni, and Burning Kudi local government areas. DSP Shisu noted that no fewer than 195 suspects have been charged to court. He also confirmed that the state is now peaceful and will no longer and with no reports of further violence. Plateau State Police Command has arrested 51 suspects for violating government directives and attempting to vandalize private property. This was disclosed by the command's public relations officer, DSP Alfred Alabo, in just the state capital. He assured that the suspects have been investigated and charged to court accordingly. The Commissioner of Police, Olugbemiga Emmanuel Adesina, disappointment at the way and manner Satan youths flagrantly disregard government directives by coming out of their residence to attack armed policemen at Yantaya Market and other parts of Jos North local government of the state. Meanwhile, the CP warned youths sternly against brandishing foreign flags in any part of the state, stressing that Nigeria is a sovereign nation. And anyone caught indulging in such a treasonable act will be apprehended and prosecuted accordingly. Governor Caleb Mufwang of Plateau State on Wednesday relaxed the 24-hour curfew imposed on Jos Bukuru Metropolis as a result of the violence that trailed the End Bad Governance protests. A statement signed by Gia Yang Bere, the Director of Press and Public Affairs to Governor Caleb Mutfwang, said that following the improvement in security situations within the Jos Bukuru metropolis, the Plateau State government has announced a relaxation of the earlier imposed 24-hour curfew. Governor Mutfwang, who ordered the relaxation after consultation with security agencies, praised them for their gallantry and commitments to ensuring strict compliance with the curfew. He emphasized the importance of maintaining vigilance to prevent any potential breakdown of law and order, and assure that the government will continue to review the curfew as the situation improves. The governor urged residents within the Jos Bukuru metropolis to cooperate with security personnel and recount any suspicious activities for prompt action. He assured the public of the government's unwavering commitment to the safety and well-being of all citizens and commended the residents for their patriotism in observing the curfew, noting that their cooperation is vital for the collective interests of the state. You are watching Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We'll return shortly after this break. Please stay tuned.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the news around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on
Welcome to Television Network, and now to the rest of our stories. President Bola Tinubu has pleaded with Nigerians to be patient with his administration, assuring the country is about to enter a new dawn. Tinubu, in an official video released by the State House, acknowledged the hardship Nigerians are going through as a result of fuel subsidy. The president also admitted that an between subsidy removal and his good and helpful plan Nigerians' pains. The president assured that the measures his government has taken would get the country out of the lingering economic crisis, urging Nigerians to have faith in his administration. This marks the second time the president would address Nigerians amid the lingering tensions in some parts of the country. President Bola Tinubu has appointed former governor of Katsina State as the chairman of the reconstituted board of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. The reconstitution of the TET Fund board was contained in a statement released by the presidential spokesman, Chief Ajuri Ngelale, on late Tuesday night. Other members of the board are Senator Sani Danladi, Mr. Sunday Adepoju, Mr. Nuruddin Adeyemi, Mrs. Esther Onyechukwu Ukachukwu, Mr. Turaki Ibrahim, and Mr. Abo Eduyo. According to the statement, the president expects the new members of the board of this pivotal institutional vehicle committed and committed to driving TED Fund's objective of providing the needed support for tertiary education with a view to enhancing the productivity and quality of higher education. Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Tuga, reiterated Nigeria's stance against foreign interference in its domestic affairs and highlighted the international relationships. He stated this when he met with Abuja, warning that the government will not spare anyone funding the protests, both from within and outside Nigeria. According to the minister, Nigeria cherishes all countries' citizens in Nigeria and continue to value the cordial relationship that happily subsists between her and other countries and organizations, and will not do anything to undermine or take for granted such relationships.
Indeed, Nigeria is the giant of Africa and a country important to the whole world. It is to this that the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Yusuf Metama, met with the diplomatic corps in Nigeria on 7th August 2024, soliciting for the understanding and collaboration for the ongoing effort of the federal government in addressing peace and economic crisis at the moment that led to the end bad government protests to achieve a better life for every Nigerian at home and abroad. The minister, who went deeper providing details of the works President Bola Tinubu has done, said there was no need for protest, which has destroyed many properties and lives, reminding that no nation tolerates foreign interference in its domestic affairs and that of its, and that government will take appropriate action. Any authority residing in Nigeria that is found to have directly or indirectly supported the protesters by whatever means or seeks to interfere in the internal affairs of the country.
Members of the diplomatic corps, I have provided you with a lot of detail, and I hope I didn't bore you. And some of the facts and figures that reflect where we
responsible elected government are trying to do. It is pertinent to remind us that no foreign interference in its domestic affairs and that of its citizens. Nigeria is not an exception. The government will take appropriate action against any foreign entity residing in Nigeria that is found to have directly or indirectly supported the protesters by whatever means or seeks to interfere in the internal affairs of the country. Nigeria cherishes and continues to value the cordial relationships that happily subsist between her and your individual countries and organizations, and will not do anything to undermine or take for granted such relationships. Indeed, more than at any time before, we solicit your understanding and collaboration in the ongoing efforts of the federal government in addressing the economic challenges confronting the country to achieve a better life for every Nigerian at home and abroad.
While the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, emphasized that the security forces were instructed to exercise maximum restraint and adhere to international standards in maintaining civil protesters, assuring that the federal government has launched an investigation into the violence that Nigeria has seen in the last 1 week to identify and bring to justice all those responsible for turning promising peaceful protest to a violent one.
We have always had this fear that once this protest began, the likelihood was that hoodlums and other criminal elements will seize the opportunity and unleash mayhem and violence across the land. We have said that consistently, and that has come to pass. Now, the message we want to put across is this: that while government oppose the democratic right of every Nigerian to engage in any meaningful protest, the right of such individuals should end where other people's rights also begin. What we have seen is that protests that appear to have begun peacefully now turn violent. We want members of the diplomatic community to understand that critical reform that the administration has embarked upon were likely to bring hardship. But this hardship was only temporary, and as every good policy, it takes some time to mature. Please show understanding of the government's position.
Joseph Moses, Atlantic Television Network.
The House of Representatives has clarified that there is no rift between the Speaker, Tajuddin Abbas, and his deputy, Benjamin Kalu, following the dissolution of the ad hoc committee investigating oil theft and importation of adulterated fuel. In a statement by its spokesperson, Rotimi Akin, the House observed that certain media outlets had speculated about the tensions following the committee's dissolution. Akin stressed that the leadership actions aim to ensure that the efficacy, independence, and effectiveness of the investigations. Akin stated that some have speculated about a rift between the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, and others have alleged inducement for the appointment of a committee chairman. These claims are baseless. The House's leadership acted within its rights and provided by the Section 60 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, which allows the House to regulate its procedures. He added that the House reserves the right to dissolve an ad hoc committee when necessary. The dissolution of the ad hoc committee on oil and gas investigation did not contravene any rule or law. No one received an inducement to appoint a committee chairman. The selection committee of the House, comprising members of each state, executed executed the assignment diligently between June and July 2023. Akin further said that there is no rift whatsoever between the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker. They enjoy a robust and cordial relationship with mutual respect. The public should disregard the unfounded speculations in some media sections. The House spokesperson urged journalists and the Nigerian media to verify their facts before publishing, advising them to cross-check with appropriate quarters to avoid spreading falsehoods. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Muhammad Idris, said that the Tinubu administration's primary goal is to rectify historical missteps and not impose hardship on Nigerians. Speaking in Abuja during a briefing for the diplomatic community on recent nationwide protests, Idris stressed that the president is committed to implementing reforms aimed at driving sustainable growth and improving citizens' quality of life. The minister, acknowledging the current hardships, noted that the administration's decisive actions, including the painful abolition of fuel subsidy, were aimed at redirecting funds towards critical sectors like healthcare, education, infrastructure, and security. Acknowledging the transitional pains from these reforms, Idris highlighted the comprehensive intervention programs designed by the federal government to alleviate the impact on Nigerians. Addressing the nationwide protests, Idris affirmed that the government's respect for peaceful assembly and freedom of expression, but noted that protests were hijacked by violent elements leading to arson, vandalism, and loss of lives and property. He assured that the federal government acted swiftly to restore peace and is investigating the violence to bring perpetrators to justice. Department of State Service says that it is currently investigating 7 Polish nationals arrested in connection with the violent and bad governance protests in Kanu. The spokesperson of the DSS, Peter Afunaya, revealed this when the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf, are being investigated, further assuring that their arrests not targeted attempts at Polish nationals. The meeting was attended by Minister of Information Muhammad Idris, a representative of the National Security Advisor, the Inspector General of Police, and the Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Foreign Affairs. ATN reports that the meeting followed the nationwide protests across the country, which commenced on August 1st, 2024. The Foreign Affairs Minister highlighted the federal government's efforts at enhancing socio-economic development, which he says had resulted in the reduction of the country's debt servicing spending from 90% to 68%. He added that the government had initiated other interventions to ensure security, create jobs, and promote investments. Tuga stated that the past few days have witnessed bad narratives on the social media, which he said are currently threatening the peace and stability of the nation. The minister, however, assured that the federal government remained committed to protecting members of the diplomatic corps as well as Nigerians in line with international laws. He warned that the government will not spare anyone found guilty of funding the protests in and outside the shores of the country. Edo North Senator Adams Oshomole declared that there is no room for regime or military takeover in Nigeria. Oshomole said it's possible for a faceless group to demand regime changes under the End Bad Governance in Nigeria had demanded the ousting of President Bola Tinubu's administration in the face of hardship in the country. However, speaking with newsmen, the All Progressive Congress chieftain said that there is no room for regime change or military takeover. No, it is impossible for and a group to demand regime change. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has bemoaned military takeover in some West African countries, saying it has created unintended consequences and threatened democratic values in the region. He spoke at the 42nd Ordinary Meeting of the ECOWAS Committee of Chiefs of Staff in Abuja. Musa stated that in democratic countries, the military must uphold democratic values in line with their constitutions. He noted that the meeting would prevent coups and ensure peace and sustainable development for citizens in West Africa. Also, the Minister of Defense, Muhammad Abubakar, and his Foreign Affairs counterpart, Yusuf Tuga, challenged the service chiefs from regional bloc to tackle terrorism through effective collaboration to combat illicit movement of small arms and light weapons in West African sub-regions. The meeting held in Nigeria's capital city, Abuja, and has regional security as one of its agenda at a time the bloc is concerned with the counter security challenges. Of the 15 defense chiefs expected at the meeting, those of Cape Verde, Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, Guinea, Guinea-Bissau, and Togo were absent. At the end of the previous meeting, last year, August, the defense chiefs took a holistic approach towards political, security, and diplomatic dimensions in addressing the situation in Niger Republic. The military regimes in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger had set up the Mutual Defense Pact, leaving the wider economic community of West African states bloc in January. In July, the three countries' leaders took part in the first summit of the Alliance of Sahel States, set up after pulling out of ECOWAS. They are by their accusation that Paris was manipulating the bloc and not providing enough support for anti And viewers, that's the size of the package. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. I am Raymond Ken Mbata. You can follow us on our social media platforms: Twitter, Atlantic TV Net; on Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network; on Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network. Peace and unity are the pathways to progress. Thank you for watching. Up next.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today. Only on ATN.